That was military. And so
he
that's
had-
where he
that's
left
his state of residence.
They didn't tax his state. So that's where he was always resident of. They're allowed to stay where they're active, so
Oh, yeah.
it worked out well.
Yeah.
Then my grandma lived there, so then we just.
I'd like to call to order the April 16th Poquoson City School Board meeting. Thatcher?
If you'd all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now for a moment of silence. Thank you. And now for a quote to start the meeting. The only person you should compete with is the you were yesterday. Thank you.
Wait. You can just stay, Thatcher. You can just stay. Oh, you're going to do it from there. Okay. Ms. Firth, are there any additions or modifications to the agenda? No, ma'am. Okay. And we're going to go a little bit out of order again tonight. There is another soccer game tonight, so we're going to let Thatcher go early so he can get a head start out to the game.
And I thank the board for their cooperation. Starting with the primary school, PPS students and staff truly enjoyed the eclipse upon returning from spring break last week. We thank our central office team, especially Kim Montavo and Jen Canella, for securing and delivering our protective eyewear so that students and adults could witness this special event. Teachers enjoyed spending the day teaching about the eclipse and participating in a variety of activities, reading, writing, and creating products and crafts related to the eclipse. We have officially started the fourth quarter, and we are focusing on getting students ready for their transition to the next grade level and discussing what still needs to be focused on to get them ready with vertical conversations of grade level teams. We have spring break testing happening this month, and in May, with the Spring Virginia Kindergarten Readiness Program for our pre-K and kindergarten students, the Diagnostic Spelling Assessment for all students, as well as the DESSA and PALS testing for first and second graders. All of this data will be used to measure student growth and achievement across the school year and will provide valuable information to next year's teachers. Our librarian, Ms. Inslee, is beginning to send out information regarding our One Book, One School event soon, which will take place during the month of May and conclude with a Mad Scientist Assembly on May 29th. We're excited for this opportunity to use some of the grant money awarded by the division for literacy work that pulls in our whole community of readers. Stay tuned for a parent information letter and calendar for joint reading soon. Also, with the Virginia Literacy Act and new reading curriculum on its way, we are in planning for next year and changes that will be taking place so that we are ready to go when the first day of school comes with some amazing new resources. The PPS PTO has several planned events coming up, including an assembly this Thursday called the Green Beats Live program. This program is one way we plan to celebrate Earth Day and support SOLs in all grade levels related to Earth's resources and being kind to our environment. This is brought to us free of charge through a partnership with WHRO and the Virginia Stage Company. We are excited to see this show. The PTO is also teaming up with the PES PTO for a joint color run event on April 26th. And Ms. Deaver and the PPS PTO are working to get ready for our field day event at the end of May. They are also continuing to work to help make the Barbara Riggins Pavilion Dream become a reality, and they are very near their fundraising goal. We thank our PTO for everything they do to support our staff and our students. Each of our grade levels are traveling on field trips during the fourth quarter. IPOP will head to the Bluebird Gap Farm, kindergartners are going to the Virginia Zoo, first graders are going to the Virginia Aquarium, and second graders will have an in-house field trip by the Virginia Aquarium and will travel to Jamestown. If you'd like to be a chaperone for a field day or field trip, or volunteer, please go now to the PPS volunteer application to start the vetting process. A link was shared in this week's family newsletter from Ms. Kaysen. This week you will notice great school spirit across all PPS and all 4 schools as we celebrate the month of the military child. Yesterday we were in red, white, and blue, and today we are sporting the stars and stripes. Don't forget your camo tomorrow. We thank all our military families and their service and sacrifice. For the elementary school, we hope everyone had a resting springful break. We would like to thank all volunteers who were presented during elementary school's Volunteer Day held just before spring break. We had over 30 volunteers presenting their careers in the fields of hospitality, business, retail, healthcare, military, law enforcement, construction, science, research, and many more. We had a great week back from break to include a review of school-wide and classroom expectations. Each grade level also met with our administrative team to review academic and behavior action steps for finishing strong in the fourth quarter. Poquoson Elementary School is also grateful for the donation of solar eclipse glasses from Jefferson Lab and NASA Langley. Our students were provided with glasses at dismissal to see the eclipse before getting on the buses to head home. This is a memorable experience for all students. Our students and teachers are gearing up for the end-of-year SOL assessments that begin on May 6th. The schedule has been shared with parents in the weekly PES family newsletter posted in Parent Square. We encourage our students and parents to continue building positive attendance habits by attending school daily, especially as we approach our end-of-year testing window. Our fourth quarter also brings fun activities, and we are hosting our spring book fair this week, our family book fair and cultural night this Thursday from 5 to 7. Families can shop at the book fair, check out student artwork in each grade level pod, and meet with our Spanish teacher, Mr. Ramirez, to play some fun games. We will also host our fourth grade music program on the 23rd. Our fundraiser prizes will be awarded on April 24th, and all students will have Baggett Books book choice provided by the PTO on this day. For the middle school, the PMS Builders Club collected 557 books to donate to Poquoson Library to be used to furnish the little library houses located throughout the city. Congratulations to the PMS chorus and band students, Miss Wade and Mr. Lawson, on earning the distinguished award of being named a Blue Ribbon School after having earned superior ratings on district assessments. We are participating in Spirit Days this entire week in honor of the month of Military Child. This Friday, we have 4 students in Richmond participating in the All Virginia Middle School Honor Choir. Our 6th graders are going on a field trip to Jefferson Lab, and we are hosting our spring dance that evening for all middle school students. Our 8th graders are excited to go to Busch Gardens next Friday to participate in Launch into Physics. Congratulations to PMS Odyssey of the Mind team for their first place finish in the state tournament. We are so proud of them and wish them best of luck next month as they compete in the World Finals tournament in Iowa. Go Bulls. We're excited to share that 4 8th grade students were accepted to attend Aviation Academy for next year. And congratulations is extended to our April Golden Bull Students of the Month in 6th grade, Taylor Battle, 7th grade, Wyatt Jackson, and 8th grade, Peyton Duval. For the high school, the spring sports have started off with a bang, with today including sporting activities with softball against Tab, soccer against Jamestown, baseball against Tab, and boys and girls tennis against York. The military science class was able to visit the aircraft carrier USS George Washington to learn more about naval and military operations. All state band competitions are being held this week, and we wish great luck to all competitors. And many students received an email from Dr. Cunningham regarding the change in location of AP testing, which will now be at the portable classrooms in front of PES. This applies to all students taking the AP exams, except those who are taking AP chemistry or those who have special accommodations. These students will test in the counseling department, and please keep further watch on the Parent Square to receive further updates about Poquoson High School. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a lot. Great job. Ms. Purdy, other recognitions?
Chair Martin, members of the board, colleagues and community members, thank you for joining us this evening. As always, we have a lot to celebrate. Thank you, Thatcher, for all of the updates that he provided from the schools. The first I would like to bring up is our April Senior of the Month. This is a very outstanding young lady. She is a hard worker who's done very well academically. And the April Student of the Month is involved in numerous Poquoson High School clubs and activities. Just to mention, she's a member of the Key Club, the Chick-fil-A Leadership Club, Excel Club, Leo Club, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, Student Council Association, and the Student to Student Club. While at PHS, this student athlete has been a member of several high school athletic teams, including JV cheer, winter track, JV softball, and is currently a member of both the varsity cheer and competition cheer teams. Please help me in congratulating Kaylee Forrest as your April Senior of the Month. It is with great pride and admiration that we also honor tonight Louis Martin, a shining example of musical excellence and dedication within our school community. Louis' extraordinary achievements include his selection for the All-District Band, his role as a distinguished drum major, and most recently, his selection for All-State Band. To put into perspective, 1,036 students auditioned and only 312 were selected. His unwavering commitment to his craft, coupled with his innate musicality and passion for music, has not only earned him this well-distinguished recognition, but has also inspired his peers and enriched our school's music program. We extend our heartfelt congratulations to Louis Martin for his outstanding achievements for both representing our school and with such a distinction at the state level. Please join me in congratulating Louis. And good luck at your game. The Blue Ribbon Award from the Virginia Music Educators Association, or VMEA, stands as prestigious acknowledgement of excellence and dedication within the realm of music education. It is the highest honor that can be bestowed and symbolizes not only exceptional musical talent, but also a profound commitment to nurturing and shaping our next generation of musicians. Recipients of this esteemed accolade demonstrate an unwavering passion for fostering musical growth, innovation in teaching methodologies, and a profound impact on their students and communities. This has been made evident from the PMS Music Department by receiving superior ratings at recent state assessments. We are incredibly honored to have Mr. Randall Lawson and Mrs. Rebecca Wade steering and growing our music programs at PMS. We thank them for their hard work and share in their excitement for qualifying for the Blue Ribbon Award at Poquoson Middle School. Please join me in congratulating both of our music directors. Now, like the middle school, both the Islander Band and the PHS Choral Department recently received superior ratings as well as at their state concert band and choral assessments. These readings may mean that our music department is eligible again for the Virginia Music Educators Association Blue Ribbon School for the second year in a row. This honor highlights the collective efforts of passionate educators, talented students, and supportive community members who have come together to create a nurturing environment for musical exploration and growth. It is a testament to the tireless commitment of our music educators in inspiring and empowering young musicians, instilling in them not only a love for music, but also the skills and confidence to excel in their musical pursuits. As a qualifier for the Blue Ribbon Award, our high school stands as a beacon for musical achievement and educational excellence in Virginia, showcasing the transformative power of music to enrich lives and build vibrant communities. Please join me in celebrating the hard work, dedication, and success of directors Mr. Doug Sproul and Ms. Rose Reed. We thank our musical educators very much for the programs that they developed within our division and the hard work that they and their students have put in. So thank you very much. That concludes our recognitions for the evening.
Thank you. And thank you to our wonderful music educators. Thank you. Thank you all. All right, we'll move into our presentations and reports, and we'll start with Ms. Brown.
All right. Good evening, Chair Martin, Vice Chair Burbidge, members of our board, and our entire Poquoson community, staff, students, everyone. All right, so tonight's updates We're going to go over a few. First, we're going to start with Month of the Military Child, a little celebration. Virginia Literacy Act updates, our PCPS curriculum development, instructional reporting calendar, IDEA Part B, and our Carl Perkins grant. And I promise you it's not as long as it sounds. All right, first up. My first update this evening is going to focus on the important connection that we share with the military community in our area. From deployments to new schools, military children are faced with unique challenges that ordinary youth their age never truly experience. Their ability to adapt to present and future challenges deserves our respect and our admiration. In an effort to recognize the hard work and applaud the courage of our military children, the Department of Defense, or DoD, has deemed April as the month of the military child. While the official Purple Up Day is April 17th, our schools are celebrating all week long, as you have heard before. We will celebrate with our culminating event on Friday, April 19th. We would like to invite students, parents, our community members, staff, to join us in celebrating our military-connected students Friday, April 19th for our PCPS Purple Up Day. Why purple? The national branches of the Military Family Association, or the Military Family Association states that the branches of the military include all of their colors. For example, Coast Guard blue, Army green, Navy blue, Marine red, and Air Force blue. Matched up together, they give you purple. So on behalf of our entire Poquoson City Schools family, I would like to extend a huge thank you to all of our active and retired service members and their families. We are grateful for your service and for your sacrifice. Over the past 2 years, Poquoson, along with every other division across the state, has been focused on the Virginia Literacy Act. You've heard it probably every presentation. This legislation ensures that every student receives explicit instruction using an evidence-based literacy curriculum that is grounded in the science of reading, or more recently referred to as the science-based reading research, and supported with high-quality instructional materials. Recently, VDOE has released several updates that I'd like to share with you tonight. First, our school divisions are required to develop a comprehensive literacy plan, and we are in the development of that with our literacy leadership team and our school teams as well. We also have K-5 intervention and supplemental materials that were just approved at the March 27th, 28th school board meeting for VBOE. A student reading plan was introduced at the March 27th, 28th meeting. Feedback was presented for approval, and they are continuing to receive feedback. So it has not been approved yet at this time, but we're anticipating the next Virginia board meeting that it will be approved. And then finally, the big change that we wanted to share with you is that as we have been discussing the professional development that is going on within our division and our needs, development requirements were also shared with school leaders. As we discussed in our work sessions, the need for time devoted to professional development is dire. Teachers, especially those who teach grades K through 8, will now be required to participate in up to 27 additional hours next school year of professional development in the science of reading. This does not take into account any of our division training priorities and needs, such as a new curriculum and new textbooks with online platforms to learn. And that's the tip of the iceberg. So we'll have a lot of work to do coming up next year to make sure that it is balanced and that morale stays high and that we are adequately supporting our teachers and making them feel valued. In the process, we have started our curriculum development, which is very exciting, and I say starting our curriculum development, but any type of revision, of course, falls into that category of a revision of curriculum development. So just a quick timeline going through. In the fall, we had our math SOL revisions that were provided. We got a head start. Our math coach, Katie Johnson, is phenomenal. went through and mapped out our new math standards to make sure that we had our own crosswalk before one was developed by VDOE. Many divisions have decided that they will start with these next year. Some worked on the crosswalk this year and started to bridge their way through it. We started right off the bat, making sure that our students and our teachers knew the new standards and that they are prepared for them. So we're excited to really see that pay off next year when it's fully implemented with our SOLs. Also during the fall, we had our VDOE instructional material review, as you recall, around the end of November, beginning December. We got that first list of K through 5 resources. Then we started looking over our different curriculums. We have adopted a textbook. You will be pleased to know that our Into Reading materials have arrived. We were a little nervous that since much of the state was ordering, however, we kind of got a head jump on that. The good news is it's here and we are ready to jump into it and start working on curriculum and mapping out our standards. The bad news is it's a little tight space over there at the elementary school and the media center. So we're working on getting it where it needs to be. In the winter for math, they started doing their VDOE instructional material review. As you notice, things are a little swapped between math and literacy. So they're in the process now of looking through the textbooks, going through their rubrics. They go through their first review and then their second review. So we are waiting for those to come about the end of spring. We're hoping by the end of the month of April, hopefully, that list of books will be approved so we can get a jump start of what is needed where. For English, we went through our PCPS textbook adoption. We are now in the process of identifying through an interest survey for those individuals who are going to be looking to map out our SOLs and unpack them and match them up against the Into Reading text to see what we need to supplement so that our students have everything that they need. We will then delve into the summer for curriculum mapping and for curriculum writing, and that will go on for all of our grade levels for math and for English. So it's going to be a very busy summer, and it's incredibly busy now in addition to preparing for our SOLs. We also have Carl Perkins. Every year there's an annual report that comes out, Carl Perkins Grant, and it is that time of year. So we will be discussing our Carl Perkins Career and Technical Education Act, which, as you know, it provides federal funding to increase the focus on academic achievement of career and technical education students and strengthen our connections between secondary and post-secondary education to improve state and local accountability. Up here, as you will notice, we focus on our performance standards, and these are the things that our completers, our CTE students who have taken those 2 courses that are sequential or that pair up together, have to complete. The performance standards provide those areas of celebration, but also areas of growth that are annually monitored. These areas provide opportunities for our divisions to analyze the performance of their CTE program and to identify areas of growth to best meet the needs of our students and prepare them for the workforce. The more we go about it, the more you're hearing about preparing for careers, post-secondary outcomes, and really getting into our CTE data. This data is related specifically to CTE completers. And these are those students who, as I said, met those sequential groupings. There are 2 electives typically that go together for high school graduation, or they're in an approved alternative education program such as New Horizons and some of those specialized programs out there. Our Poquoson 22-23 completers met or exceeded the Virginia target data in on-time graduation rates, in proficiency in reading, in math, and in science, as well as post-program placement. And you can see our data is up here, exceeding the Virginia state target. All of this data that is included also includes our special populations, which are our English language learners, our special education student, economically disadvantaged, and our military-connected students as well. For next year, as we look for our funding and the different allocations, the areas that we will be truly looking at are going to be a lot of those STEM and technology devices. We have used this year funds for Makey devices for the middle school, digital simulation software. We have ICEV, which are your industry credentialing software programs. Give me a thumbs up, Mr. Roberts, for ICEV. Fantastic, okay. Refrigerator for culinary arts, credentialing vouchers, mandated allotment for New Horizons. As you know, there is a cost for our students to attend. After reviewing the local industry trends, the data from the past year, and the teacher needs for each of the courses, the CTE Advisory Committee selected the items listed here to allocate for our Carl Perkins funds this year. And a big, huge thank you to Vice Chair Burbidge for that committee work and also assisting with that. All right, next up is our special education annual plan. So each year, PCPS applies for federal funding to support our special education programs through the Special Education Annual Plan, which is established through IDEA Part B. These funds are used solely for special education personnel and individuals who provide specific services that directly impact our special education students. Through IDEA Part B, you'll see that federal funding is broken down into two different funding streams. Those funding streams are 611 and 619. 611 supports our school-age students with disabilities, while our 619 focuses on our preschool students in that population with disabilities. When breaking down the funding, as you will notice, you have $445,790, which is allotted to our school-aged children, which makes sense, and many more grades, many more students. Those are broken down into salary and benefits for 7 paraprofessionals and 2 special education bus assistants that were needed to support the program. Also purchase services and materials and supplies. Preschool, broken down for $13,250, went into personnel services, purchase services, material supplies, and our community child find event in order to identify early to get our students in the program and get them related services. So moving forward, our PCPS Special Education Department is going to focus on co-teaching, co-planning, and specialized instruction within the general education setting, as this has been identified are areas of need, and creating appropriate services for each identified student in order to develop a strong continuum of services. And that's the key here, making sure we have things for students who have been identified, who need just a little bit of services, to those who need something more intensive. But any child can land upon the continuum, and we meet their needs where they are. Funds are used solely for special education personnel here, and of course the identified individuals who provide those related services when it comes to the personnel and staffing piece. All right. And finally for you this evening, based upon requests that we have received in addition, we're going to talk about the instructional updates for the 24-25 school year and provide kind of a fluid timeline. A monthly timeline for your instructional updates and reports is going to be presented to you on our next slide. This evening, we will be looking ahead. When preparing our instructional updates for each board meeting, topics are dependent upon released information such as student performance data, any type of general assembly, actions that have occurred, legal updates or actions that have taken place, such as, if you recall, our VLA that came about after the school year started this year, and then it completely toppled our world upside down, right? Good stuff has come out from it, however, things that we did not know in August or September. So with this going on and our ongoing budgeting processes, such as developing our superintendent's budget, we wanted to give you an idea of some of the topics that you'll see basically around the same months next year and try to keep to that consistent schedule while also including some instructional highlights and updates along the way each month. In an effort to be consistent, these annual reports are going to be aligned with state reporting, with timely data releases, and this tentative calendar has been developed. But it's important to note that this is an organic document, just as we said. There may be minor shifts that come up or needs that come up from federal or state initiatives or any other topic that becomes time sensitive. So looking here, and something more formal will be presented to you in a document in the future, but just so that you can see, we have all the way from August to July. Some of those reports that are up here that are standing reports would include Preliminary student data for performance in August. We say preliminary and unofficial because it hasn't been vetted necessarily by by VDOE at that time. You see for September accreditation and accountability reports that can be given to you because by that time, typically the data is finalized. However, as you recall this year, you can't really guess because many times it's in September, August, but we were pushing into October when it was finally released by VDOE because they held on to it. The strategic plan, if you see things that are kind of pushed between 2 different months, that means that between August and September, somewhere in between there, you'll receive that report for your strategic plan. Moving on to October. October is when we get our release for PSAT data, SAT, AP data, and we can start providing those updates as well. They will be timely as soon as College Board releases them. However, that occurs usually towards the end of October, so depending upon when we have our school board meeting, that will determine whether this is given to you in October or if we have to wait to November. November and December, VTSS, that's Virginia Tiered Systems for Supports and Supports. They are required, or we are required, to give 2 updates to the board to kind of touch base with VTSS and let you know how we're doing. That first update will be in that November, December timeframe. Again, it depends on when PSAT and SAT is given. And then we will give that second update between April and May. Our budgeting process, as you recall, starts in December. It's a lengthy process. It starts in December with our schools, and it carries over until March when we have that budget approved. Program of studies begins in January. Well, technically it begins in December. In January is when we're hoping to have that report for you and deliver at that meeting our program of studies for you to vote upon, and we can get our scheduling started in February. Moving down to Summer Academy. Summer Academy updates and presentations will be in May. While information is sent home prior to that, at least it gives you the opportunity to have a well-rounded view of what the program will look like this year coming up and to be able to put out some of those important dates to keep on your calendars. We have, last but not least in June, our ESSA entitlement grants come out. That's the Every Student Succeeds Act. So we go through Title I, Title IV, Title II and III are in there as well. And then we will have that presented to the board to vote upon so it can be sent up to VDOE. And then finally, June, July, when those legal updates come, when the General Assembly votes and we get all the new changes that directly impact our policy, we'll be able to present those to you as well. If there's no July meeting, that could push to August. So just kind of a snapshot of what you'll be seeing. And that wraps it up for my instructional updates tonight. Does anyone have any questions? All right, well, thank you so much. Yep.
Dr. Ratliff, I think you're next for, oh no, Ms. Spence, I'm sorry, you're next.
Good evening, Chair Martin, Vice Chair Burbidge, and members of the school board and the Poquoson community. Tonight I have a very short financial update for the school system. The governor returned House Bill 30 and Senate Bill 30 to the General Assembly without his signature. The governor has proposed 242 amendments to the General Assembly budget. The General Assembly will reconvene tomorrow, April 17th, to consider the governor's amendments. I would like to note that the governor, when he sent on April 8th, he concurred with the 3% salary increase that the House and the Senate together had recommended. The local funding, I also wanted to let you know that the city manager included in his fiscal year 25 recommended budget the school board's approved budget, which included the request for $508,738 to provide a 5% compensation increase for all staff. And that's all I have for you this evening. Any questions? All right. Thank you.
And now Dr. Ratliff, operations update.
Good evening, Madam Chair Martin, Mr. Tillett, and board members. I only have a few brief miscellaneous updates for you tonight. we'll soon begin planning for summer projects, and when we start talking about them in this context, that's where we're going around and working with the schools to see what the principals, assistant principals identify the needs that need to be done over the summer. We've already developed their summer cleaning schedules, which helps the schools to be able to operate and function during the summer so they know what's going to be cleaned and when that's going to be done. The RFP for the playground has been released. We have had the pre-bid meeting, and bids are due on May the 3rd. Our next steps when we get those in will be to evaluate those, and when we evaluate them, this one in particular, we'll put a more diverse committee together. We'll have the principal, the administration in the school, the teacher, a parent. We'll have Mr. Fye, the city council member, who does have an expertise in the area of playgrounds, and then a representative from the school board office as well. The weapons detection system that we received, again, if you remember a few meetings back, I told you about a system, a grant that we got in order to purchase one of these. We did receive that this past week. All the personnel have been trained, and we actually started using it in this past week. Since we only got one out of all that we attempted to get enough that would serve all of the doors in all of the schools, and we were approved for the one. We're going to use this one in the capacity that it can float to different schools. It will float to different doors. It may be in a different spot each day. It's very lightweight. I think it's under 25 pounds, very maneuverable, very mobile. But there's a lot of different things that we're going to be able to use it with, even only in having one. And the first day that we used it, they honestly, at the high school, they had very, very few hiccups in how it was going. So, hiring for the 24-25 school year. While your board packet is a little bit light on the hiring for this month, what you don't know right now is a lot has been happening in the background. And some of the positions that we have available are in the process of being hired right now. Honestly, I would say that we're in the spot right now when you're looking at some of staffing in a couple of these hard positions. We're probably in better shape at this point in the year than we've been in a couple of years. So right now, I think we have a very positive outlook about what we're going to be getting. We're starting to look at bus routes, both for the summer and for the coming school year, to see what modifications we may or we may not need to make to those. We're still in great need for bus drivers and bus aides. We've had a little bit of interest in some of the bus aide positions that we have open, but still no further interest in driving positions. We're still 5 drivers down and maybe 1 or 2 more positions on top of that we have vacant. So if anyone out there would like to be a bus driver, we certainly need your applications, and we would like to talk to you. The Wellness Committee completed their final meeting of the year over this past week, and one of the things that I thought that came out good from that meeting was they're going to be, the Aramark's food service director is going to be working with the schools next year and the principals to see what they may be able to do collaboratively. And when you're talking about wellness in this capacity, it's staff, student, all the way around. And many years ago, I guess it was really before COVID, you would even have they would have competitions. It may be, I don't know, one of the things that was brought up was some sort of a weight loss competition, something like that. But basically healthy habits, healthy eating, and things to that nature. And all of the schools always want to beat each other out. So if we do have some sort of competition, we can see which one would win that. And finally, work on the Poquoson Primary School fire alarm replacement has began. Really nothing that they'll see at the school level, but in the background and the plans and everything that needs to be ordered, all of that process has started. We're not going to have any problem in getting that done before the year begins, and honestly, my hope is we're really going to be finished with that up into the summer, so we'll have plenty of time there. The winning bid for that came in just slightly under what we anticipated the amount for the project to be, the total amount. And that concludes my updates. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
I do have a question. That weapons device, 25-pound, can that be taken to outdoor activities too, to be able to scan coming into sports activities?
Yeah, that's actually one of the plans, and that we really looked at. We're going to be able to use it at all schools. But when looking at where, right now it's placed at the high school, and looking at where our highest need may be, and then athletics is the other thing. Yes, it can easily be taken to an athletic event and be put out, and all of your public can come through. You have, the one thing that we saw when we were trying it out, and I don't know how it's gone since then, but some of your false positives are the really big, thick 3-inch binders, and it's the big piece of metal in the back. And the screening goes from a TSA level of sensitivity all the way to they didn't call it a school level made for people to come in and out, but that's essentially what it was. But we can even, I guess they can take their telephone and on an app and in 60 seconds have the sensitivity changed if they need to. So really we not only can move it, we can also, I guess, change the sensitivity to what our needs may be for where it's at.
I had a question on bus drivers. Have we really looked at their salaries and how they compare and what the cost would be if it's low? I mean, we're a small division. That couldn't be that much money, honestly, if it's $1 an hour or something.
It is, when you look at, yes, we have, and I'll give you a little bit more lengthy explanation than that. It's harder to look at hours on paper and say, okay, it's this much an hour, as if you look at the neighboring divisions, because I think all of your other neighboring divisions pay by the hour. We pay by the run. And there's a big difference in our bus runs and other divisions' bus runs. Our bus runs are typically about 30 minutes. So if we paid bus drivers by the hour, by the time they did their runs, what they would actually make would be very, very minimal, and we wouldn't have any. So when you actually look and you figure the hourly rate based on a 30-minute hour rather than a 60-minute hour on what our per run rate is, it is roughly, and I can't tell you the figure off the top of my head, it's roughly about $20 an hour. We are competitive within the region. I would say that there are some that are higher and there are some that are lower. I would say it's one of the areas probably where we are more competitive in pay. It just, when you look at the run rate, you have to really explain it to someone and kind of go through the process of how it works, because the per run rate does not correlate to a regular hourly rate.
I just want to make sure we were not being competitive. Like I said, if it's a handful of employees and
Everywhere I know is having a problem with bus drivers. The big thing that we have is, I think we actually have 16 full-time drivers employed right now, and I've got 5 out, and I've got 2 vacant positions. So that's where, that if it's 300 employees and you have 5 out, it's not a big deal. But when it's 16 and you have 5 out, it is a huge hole to try to fill.
I'm not sure if it's operations, but did we change our policy with fluids coming into sports events? Is that we can talk about and ask?
No, we've always had the same expectation. It's not actually a policy, but it's a process that pretty much every sports facility has. You can't take outside liquids in for obvious reasons. People bring things they're supposed to. It's always been, we've had signs up for years. What's happened now, and I guess I've heard some talk on Facebook or what have you, that we've been enforcing actually. You can't bring outside containers in. It's been the rules of signs up for as long as I've been here at least, and long before that, the signs are weathered, so they've been here some time.
So even sealed fluids, you can't just, no fluids?
No, now if it's like a clear bottle of water that's sealed, you can bring that in, but if you're bringing in like a Stanley Cup or whatever, where nobody knows what's in that, and again, it's been the expectation for, and I don't know of a stadium. Actually, we have probably the most liberal policy as it relates, or practice as it relates to that. You've read, I'm sure, some neighboring school divisions, and it's something that our board should talk about when we get into our safety discussions again for next year. Clear bag requirements and a lot of those other things that are important. But yeah, our policy is about as user-friendly as it gets. We're just enforcing it now pretty strictly.
But a sealed water would
But
be fine.
sealed water is available, and we course, sell and make available refreshments, including water, at every contest.
I have a question as far as what you just said. With the weapons detection system, would we need a clear bag policy at that point?
It's a good question. It's worth the discussion. I follow pretty closely what other school divisions are doing as it relates to safety. We're very excited about this particular piece of equipment because it does work and it's mobile. So we're going to try it, of course, at our at a big athletic contest to make sure that it's efficient in doing that. But we'd love to have multiple of these so that we can have them in a lot of places. But I don't know. The places that do have the clear bag also have these devices as well. So I don't know that you can be too secure, would just be my thought. But it is a topic for a work session, I think, for us to get in the kind of the weeds about what we want to do moving forward, as we do know that a lot of other school divisions around us have gone to the clear bag. I don't have a preference one way or the
We
other.
can't have that at every single event. Sometimes we have more than one event going on, so it might be
That's
something
correct.
we need to look at with the clear bags, just so.
Go to today, have a clear bag policy.
So make sure, because I know a lot of people do walk to these things and it gets warm in the summer. As long as they have sealed water, you want to make sure at least they.
A sealed water bottle, I think.
Thank you.
Earth, is anybody signed up for public comment?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Burbidge, you want to go over the consent agenda?
Yes, the consent agenda for tonight is approval of financial reports, authorization to change appropriation and to accept and expand funds in accordance with attached request, approval of personnel action, and approval of minutes for March's regular meeting and work session.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, so I saw Ms. Firth, your name's on there. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So who would be our board clerk and
Good question. These are big shoes to fill, as you all well know. This is a job that April has indicated interest in, since we knew that Jean Ray was retiring. So she's been preparing for this, and of course, blew away the interview panel, as we would expect. So we will start the process. We have posted already April's current job, which is multifaceted, works for the board and our administrative team, and there's what a lot of people don't know in that job. So this is a selfish plug for anybody who's interested in that job. It is posted. Please look at it. It has quite a bit of finance. This position is shared with finance. So it has a lot. It's a very busy and skill-required position, but April's done a brilliant job. I'm gonna miss her right outside my office, but she's not too far down the hall. So, but very good question. We'll start that process. We have, I think, 3 or 4 applicants as of today. 3. So we're going to monitor that closely, and of course, we'll be updating you as we go.
Earth, we call for the vote, please.
Vice Chair Burbidge,
Aye.
Mr. Childress,
Aye.
Rose,
Aye.
Dr. Goodell,
Aye.
Mr. Ingram,
Aye.
Ms. Jones,
Aye.
Chair Martin. Motion passes, vote is 7-0.
Thank you. Okay, we have for other matters for consideration, a consideration of the approval of the proclamation for Teacher Appreciation Week. Is there a motion to approve? So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Ms. Firth, would you please call for the vote?
Vice Chair Burbidge,
Aye.
Mr. Childress,
Aye.
Mr. DeBose,
Aye.
Dr. Goodell,
Aye.
Mr. Ingram,
Aye.
Ms. Jones,
Aye.
Chair Martin. Motion passes, vote is 7-0.
Consideration of approval for special education plan for the school year 24-25. Is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Did we have a work session on this to review the plan, anything like that, or are we just seeing it tonight?
No, this is a plan you approve every year with, and we've never had a work session for it. It's pretty boilerplate. These are federal funds that come earmarked for certain things, and it's a fairly small amount of money, but the lion's share of the plan is to make sure that we're complying with all of the requirements by IDEA. And so the plan is really about a compliance plan, and we, of course, annually comply.
It was also presented to SEAC and with their.
Right, and SEAC always looks at it in detail to make sure that it kind of represents what the committee would like to see in our special needs program.
Ms. Murphy, please call for the vote.
Vice Chair Burbidge?
Aye.
Mr. Childress?
Aye.
Mr. DeVos?
Aye.
Dr. Goodell?
Aye.
Mr. Ingram?
Aye.
Ms. Jones?
Aye.
Chair Martin?
Aye.
Motion passes, vote is 7-0.
Consideration of approval for the Perkins Grant, school year 24-25. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Ms. Firth, please call for the vote.
Vice Chair Burbidge?
Aye.
Mr. Childress?
Aye.
Mr. DeVos?
Aye.
Dr. Goodell?
Aye.
Mr. Ingram?
Aye.
Ms. Jones?
Aye.
Chair Martin?
Aye.
Motion passes, vote is 7-0.
Yeah,
We just put it here for that, to
Right.
initiate the discussion.
we need to have a discussion on moving the May school board meeting date. There are a couple of board members who cannot make the May meeting.
But are we going to do the scholarship?
Oh, I'm
Skip
sorry.
D.
Sorry, I skipped D. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ingram. Is there a motion for approval for the consideration of approval to establish a school board scholarship?
Yeah, and I could speak to that a little bit. This actually came from board member Dr. Goodell. It was a great suggestion. As you know, most board members, and have for some time, donate your big paycheck back to the school division to do great things. And that is, the lion's share of that has been used to take care of kids in special ways. One of the things you've done annually, and it was in the reading file, is supply an honorarium to the New Horizons program for students who earn scholarships through New Horizons, our students at New Horizons who earn these scholarships. I think we spend somewhere around $500 to $500 scholarships. We've been doing that for some time, but the idea was, maybe the board wanted to use the remainder of that money for scholarship. Dr. Goodell thought he might want to do it with his donation. I don't want to speak for you, but that was, I think, your intent, and even maybe supply some matching funds to create a scholarship for a STEM-based program or something of that sort. And then we, in discussion, decided it might be a good idea to bring it to the rest of the board. Is it something you all might be interested in? It's not a large sum of money, but as you know, most of our scholarships are managed by the Poquoson Education Foundation. You can easily establish a criteria. You can make it anything you want to, and they will take it from there. They will do the application process for us. The money we send directly to them, they then pay it out to the institution. It's a pretty seamless process. A lot of hard work on their end, but not a challenge on ours. And we just thought we'd bring it to the table if it's something you all would like to discuss and move forward.
For me, I'd like to make a motion to be able to table that to a work session, that everybody can kind of have a month to think about it and what they want, that way we can come to the table with their ideas, my own individual ones. As I said, I told you I was going to go forward regardless of what happened in this one anyway, so I don't know if we want to table for a work session in work session. Be fine.
So with that table motion, was the plan to implement this starting this year or?
No, this was moving forward. Of course, your own contribution, you can do anything you want to with that if you wanted to earmark, and that's the way this conversation started. But it just made a lot of sense to bring it to the whole board to see if anybody else had an interest in doing that, either individually or collectively, So it does make sense we talk about it in a work session, or y'all could think about it and let me know what you want to do individually. But if you wanted to have a collective conversation about it, we can table it for another time. No problem with that.
Yeah, I second that motion. Just
Okay.
give us time because like you said, we would have to come up with criteria and stuff like that in order for them to administer it, so.
Not necessarily. Typically, what happens with scholarships like this is, we find out what the sum of money is available, and then you give general parameters. Do you want this about grades, or do you want this about a particular field of study? It dawned on me just in thinking about this, it might be an appropriate thing to make it someone who's interested in education, someone who might want to be a teacher and come back to Poquoson, work with us, hopefully down the road. But these are just your thoughts, but you don't have to do that. You can turn it over to them and say, here's X number of dollars annually. Do with it what you'd like. Or you can establish criteria, and really up to the board's pleasure.
Highly recommend that we establish some criteria based on, what the school board feels is a good way to go. It helps PEF tremendously in their ability to turn around and distribute funds.
That'd be perfect to talk about in a work session.
Got a table motion in a second.
Just seconded, so.
Okay, yeah, it was seconded. So Ms. Firth, will you please call for the vote?
Vice Chair Burbidge?
Aye.
Mr. Childress?
Aye.
Mr. DeVos?
Aye.
Dr. Goodell?
Aye.
Mr. Ingram?
Aye.
Ms. Jones?
Aye.
Chair Martin? Motion passes, vote is 7-0.
Thank you. Okay. Now, done something here. The next item is not necessarily a voting item, but we need to move the May school board meeting and to give us as much notice as possible. We were thinking the May 30th, which is a Thursday, the following week. We would do a work session as.
What do we have the Tuesday before our regular session, our regular meeting? I mean, why don't we have to push it almost June?
For our availability purposes.
Oh, 2 weeks?
The May 28th does not work. That's Tuesday.
It is.
The 14th or the 28th won't work, it's on the 21st, right?
Yes.
One of the major conflicts on the following week on Tuesday, the 28th, is Dr. Goodell and I have the New Horizons Board of Directors meeting that night, and we were trying to not miss that meeting.
But would the 14th work or no?
We have a quorum?
I think Thursday's the tough. That's why I'd like to stick with Tuesday if possible. Anybody else not available the 14th, or is that? Anybody else just one?
I schedule that evening or that afternoon, so. Outreach event for trade partners.
What about, would the 29th work?
That would be easier for me.
Works for me.
That work for you, Mr. Ingram?
Yeah, any day does.
Okay, so we'll move the meeting to the 29th of May, next school board meeting.
I will just add this, and I don't know that
Oh, I'm sorry, I should have asked you.
no, it's okay, I'm available.
Okay.
But it is scholarship night at the high school, and it's kind of a big deal. That's when they give out all these scholarships, that night. I do usually attend, but again, we'll be here. But,
Mr. Roberts
and
won't be
Mr.
here.
Roberts will not be here, but that's probably the only one who has to be missed. But, yeah.
But for student recognitions, though, that might be a challenge. Right. So back to the 30th. Is, Mr. Childress, are you the only one who can't make the 30th?
Oh, 30th is, oh, yes, right. First graders sing the national anthem at Pilot's Gate that night.
That means I won't be there. I won't be here on the 30th.
You will be here on the 30th. What was the? And Mike.
I can make the 28th work if need be.
How about the 16th, that Thursday? Oh, it's Thursdays, okay.
Yeah.
That whole week, okay.
So did we say the 14th was only missing 2 people and we still have a quorum, or do we want to? We have to take a vote on our change? Is it a vote thing that we do, or is it?
You don't necessarily have to vote. The board chair can set the date, but I think you.
Yep, I did.
How many people's missing the 21st?
2
Plus April is out of town as well.
plus April.
Like the week after is out, so it would be the 13th to the 17th, correct? 27th is Memorial Day. 28th didn't work.
13th is city council meeting.
13th don't work. I do the 15th. Yeah, so 15th out for us. So 16th.
15th.
What about May 15th?
They can do.
16th? So May 16th? How's the calendar look on May 16th?
Missing anything?
At the moment,
Moment.
looks nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll move the meeting to May 16th then.
Oh, wait,
16th. Thursday,
Wait,
the
the
16th.
16th?
Thursday,
That's the
May 16th,
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. All right, thank you.
Is there a work session, I'm sorry, before or
We
after,
will.
or no, separately?
We will have
a work Separate.
Is that gonna be before?
Before,
Before.
as we've done.
We're gonna start at 7 then, or are we gonna try to do the work session at 5?
I'm open to,
I think we should probably do the work
Preference.
session from 6 to 7 and start the meeting at 7, and that what we've done in the past.
that is what we've done, yes.
Okay.
So
Is that
work,
okay?
yeah, so work session start at 6? Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sorry.
Oh, no, appreciate that conversation. All right, and lastly, we have consideration of approval to select the Student School Board Representative Committee members. Dr. Burbidge was on that committee last year, and we need one more volunteer who would like to participate. As you know, our school board representative is a junior from the next class, so they do their school year, and then they laid off, and we get to pick a new student member. So Dr. Burbidge is we're looking for a partner for Dr. Burbidge.
What dates will we? It's almost not a baseball game, but I think we could.
We
probably
usually do
figure
the
this.
interviews in the library. We just get, Roberts solicits interested applicants, and then
Can help if you need to.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, we're moving on to communications and other matters by the school board and/or superintendent. Mr. Ingram?
Going to vote on that?
No.
The committee?
No?
Oh.
We just appointed Mr. Childress.
Want to congratulate the Senior of the Month, Miss Forrest. Congratulations to Mr. Martin for the High School Band Award, and recognition for the blue ribbon for the middle school, the high school, and good luck to the Odyssey of the Month.
Also
Oh,
wanted to
sorry.
echo the.
Dr. Goodell?
Also wanted to echo the congratulations to the music department and all the achievements. I wanted to be able to speak at the joint meeting with the city council, but it looks like that got canceled. So I just wanted to revisit a little bit about the AP exam initiative. Really look at our, I don't mean to single out Poquoson High School, but this is where the data lies with that one. 20 years ago, we were ranked 635th. As of last year, we're down to 2056th. It's a 62% decrease in 10 years. We look at where we're strong, graduation rate, our science and reading proficiency, we're strong. This is where the AP exam fits in, like it or not. We have, to 31 students take the exam, 27% pass it. That's where we fall off. I think if the council, the city council, or, if we have carryover funds, I think if you see an investment in that AP component, we would overtake Grafton High School as #1 in these rankings. And now, I know it seems trivial with rankings, but there's different payoffs with it. I think, sometimes when you are higher ranked, your houses generate more money as far as sales go. You don't have to increase your tax millage rate by 3%. And one of the biggest ones I really think I see is that, in college applications, when you look at all things being equal, they do consider high school curriculum rigor in their ranking. So if you got a Grafton kid and a Poquoson kid and they're dead heat tied on everything to get into UVA, and they have to go to curriculum rigor or stature of the school, we may lose out on that. And that's not really to any fault of that kid. So as I said, I know City Council listens to it. I don't think it was a big investment or, future going on forward. Sometimes money pops up. It's something I definitely, it's low-hanging fruit that I think we're missing out on. So I'll leave it.
If I could just, I don't normally respond to board comments, but that's already on the plan. So when we talked in the work session about moving that cost of AP exams off, I think it was $23,000. We keep a list of all the things we moved to look at carryover funds for, and we'll be coming back to this board, as we always do when there's carryover funds, and there will be funds from vacancy savings primarily, and that's at the top of my list as well.
Mr. Childress?
I just wanted to thank all the teachers and staff that helped with the solar eclipse activities for the kids. They really did enjoy going out there and being able to see that and incorporating stuff that happens outside. Y'all do a great job at doing that, so thank you for keep doing that. I know the students are really excited about their field trips too, so that was kind of like a field trip here, and now they're getting a field trip somewhere else, so great job to all the staff that's doing it. Congratulations to Senior Month, Kaylee Forrest. Congratulations to All State Band, Luke Martin, and congratulations to our music educators for the Blue Ribbon Awards. You guys are doing great, and the kids appreciate it.
Ms. Jones?
Yeah, echo the sentiments of my fellow board members. The April Senior of the Month, Kaylee Forrest, congratulations, as well as Louis Martin for the All-State Band. Congratulations to both the middle and high school band and chorus departments for their superior ratings. And a thank you to all of our military service members and families. I know my children have not only enjoyed the Spirit Days as they always do, but it's just a good reminder of the sacrifices and service that are provided by so many of our community members. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Mr. DeBose?
I want to echo everybody else's comments about everything we've heard tonight and congratulate everybody. Also want to just mention, I was sitting in line to go pick up my daughter today behind the high school, and I watched all the sports teams come out and the buses roll in from York County and all that, and it really made me remember how special of a community we have, because the number of people that were out there at the high school getting prepped for the games or practicing or whatever, it's pretty phenomenal the participation our community has with our school systems. And you turn around and you go back and you look at other school systems in the area, you don't have that type of participation, both from a parent level and from a teacher level. So, I just want to, everybody knows this, but, we live in a pretty special little community, and, it's pretty awesome to sit back and watch everybody do what they do to make us Poquoson. So it's pretty neat.
Thank you. Dr. Burbidge?
Yes, I'd like to congratulate the Student of the Month, Kaylee Forrest. I'd also like to congratulate the music educators here in Poquoson. They do a great job, and music is really important to a lot of kids and families here in this town. They do a great job, and they're greatly appreciated. I'd also like to congratulate the girls soccer team. I went to go see them on Friday evening, and they did really well. I think they finally called the game at 9-0. So that was really good. I'd also like to thank all of the CTE staff that helped put together the Carl Perkins grant. It was a lot of interesting discussions. The biggest takeaway is that we still need business leaders from our community to help volunteer and step forward and help these kids, as they prepare to enter, technical work environment after they graduate. So, thank you.
Thank you. And for me, I'll say congratulations to our Student of the Month, Ms. Forrest, and my son, Louis Martin, the trombonist. Many, many thanks to Mr. Sproul, Mr. Higginbotham for fostering him and really coming up beside him and helping him make his way. I think they're probably not the only educators who do that, but for me in my life, I think they've played a very big role in his life and guiding him, and I'm very thankful for that. I echo the sentiments of our fellow board members. I think what we have here is an awesome thing to watch. If you just sit still and see it all happen in front of you, it is pretty amazing, and we are grateful for all of that work. So thank you, and thank you to my fellow board members for your work as well. And to you too, Mr. Tillett.
I, of course, echo everything said again tonight, but I do want to mention one additional piece of information. As you know, we celebrate on the board level only state winners. And that's an extraordinary thing when you win anything for the whole state. It's just amazing. And we, time after time, meeting after meeting, are celebrating people who are kids and educators who perform at that level. It is truly amazing for a small community to have the number of state winners. But what we didn't celebrate tonight was the fact that 4 Odyssey of the Mind teams, all 4 of our Odyssey of the Mind teams also won the states. And the reason we're not celebrating them tonight is only because they're going to the world competition on the 20th of May. And we will be celebrating them after that competition at our June meeting, or possibly now the May meeting, since we've moved it. So fingers crossed for that, but I did want to mention they did win the states, all 4 teams, and that is absolutely extraordinary, and we'll be celebrating them when they return from Worlds. Great job.
Thank you, and I echo that. Thank you to Norm and the team. My daughter's on the team, that's why I won't be able to be here that week. But if anybody would like to go to Iowa for the week, for about 8 minutes of a skit, let's talk. Ms. Firth, is there any other material for board review?
No, ma'am.
All right. Then we will stand adjourned. Thank you all. Have a great evening.